Hi everyone, Sandy Grove, registered nurse here again with Health Tracks at Home. We've been talking for the last few weeks about the National Emergency Prep Month, which has just finished, but we're going to continue to go on with preparing our emergency plan. And today we are going to do we stay or do we go? What do we do in case of an emergency? Do we stay at home or do we evacuate? So as always, I obtain my information from reliable sources. This time, again, it's from Homeland Security at ready.gov and FEMA. And things do change from day to day, but if you have any questions, give your healthcare provider a call. This week, we're going to work on, like I said, the emergency plan again, and what we do when, in the event of a disaster, when we are deciding to stay or to go. Depending on the circumstances and the nature of the emergency, this may be the very first, very important decision that we make. You should understand what you need to do in both possibilities. Have a plan if you're going to stay at home or if you're going to leave, because sometimes you may not be given a choice. You may have to stay at home. So monitor television, monitor radio. We talked about having that battery-operated radio so that you can get the information and be up to date. And if you require additional travel time, make sure that you include that in your stay-at-home or evacuation plan. You need that time. Leave yourself that time. So if you decide to stay put, whether you are at home or you're elsewhere, it may be simply the best thing to do to stay in a store that you're at, and you may not have a choice at that time. So unfortunately, that would leave you without your emergency kit, but that's hopefully a temporary time, and you will have somebody that can help you as soon as possible. Consider what you can do to stay sheltering in place, alone or with friends or with neighbors, because you may be there. And then there could be times when you need to stay put and create a barrier between you and the outside air, like was in 9/11. The air quality was really bad. If we have a bad earthquake, there could be a lot of debris in the air. So we're going to talk about that a little bit, because we've all become pros at sheltering in place with COVID. However, we're going to go a little bit farther. We're going to go when the air outside is not good and what we need to do. So if you see large amounts of debris in the air, or the local authorities tell you that the air is badly contaminated and you have to take some kind of action, there are some tips that we want you to have. I want to make sure you know what to do. So local authorities may not be immediately able to give you the information that you need. This is just rule of thumb. Watch the TV, listen to that radio that we talked about last week. Check the internet if you can. If any of those things are up, make sure you have multiple ways to get information into your life. Bring your family and your pets inside immediately. Get the kids in, find out where they are, get them inside. Lock all the doors, close the windows, the air vents, the fireplace dampers. Turn off your fans, your air conditioning, and your heating systems. Take your emergency supply kit with you unless you have a reason to believe it might be contaminated. So wherever you're going to end up in your home, make sure that kit is with you. So once you get in there, you're there. Go to an interior room with as few windows as possible. I am in my room. This room is in the middle of my house. I have 2 windows in front of me. I have one little vent right behind me up there. And this has my landline, which is why this is the room we've chosen to be our emergency room. We also have a computer in here. So we have most everything we need. We just have to grab our emergency kit and come in here. This is the right room for us. And we can climb out the window if we need to and get off of the property. So seal all the windows and the doors and the air vents with thick plastic. This is called sealing a room. If the debris outside gets in, it could be toxic to your health. So this is another step. This is getting plastic material and duct tape to be in your emergency kit. It's a good idea to have it there. You could cut this beforehand once you choose the room that you're going to shelter in place in. Duct tape the corners first and then seal it all the way around the window to be the best seal possible. And be prepared to improvise. What if you don't have any plastic and this happens tomorrow? Use a bed sheet, a pillowcase, whatever, to tape things down. Hopefully everybody has some duct tape on hand. So sealing a room is a temporary protective measure to create a barrier between yourself and potentially hazardous air outside. This requires pre-planning. Like I said, you need to have it in your emergency kit. but you may be asked to stay in place and to do that, to block. So go into a room that has the least amount of vents, no fireplaces, least amount of windows, so you're safe. Think about an earthquake in the room that you're going to be in, etc. So then what do we do if we have to evacuate? Plan how you will get away and anticipate where you're going to go. So choose several destinations. You may not be able to go the way you think you're going to go. So choose different people you might go to be with. Have options in the way you're going to evacuate and what roads you're going to go on. If you rely on elevators, have a backup plan there too, and make sure your neighbors know what you're going to do and how you're going to get out. The owner of your building should know, should already have an evacuation plan for the elevators. And if you have to go downstairs, you may need some help. During an evacuation, you want to make sure you have the FEMA app available on your computer or on your phone that has a list of all the open shelters that are active during the disaster in your area, so you know where to go. Listen to your battery-operated radio and follow local evacuation instructions. Take your emergency supply kit with you. That's why we have the one that we recommended, either a suitcase or a backpack. Grab that. You need to leave the house. You want to have that with you. Leave early enough to avoid any weather changes or the fires coming near you. You don't want to wait to the last minute. Take your pets with you, and like we talked last week, you need to have a plan for your pets, whether it's going to your vet, to a friend that lives outside of the disaster area, etc. And plan how you're going to take care of them in an emergency. If time allows, so you only get to do this part if you do have the time. If you're waiting for the emergency people to escort you out or to say you can go, or they've said wait for 5 minutes, then you can call or email the out-of-town contact to let them know where you're going, what you're planning to do. Unplug your electrical equipment such as radios, televisions, and small appliances. Leave your freezers and refrigerators plugged in unless there's risk of flooding. If there is damage to your home and you're instructed to do so, shut off the water and the gas and the electricity before you leave. Leave a note. That's that paper and pencil we talked about a couple weeks ago that's in your emergency pack. Leave a note on your front door where you've gone, especially if you're driving away. You want others to know. Wear sturdy clothes, long sleeves, long sleeves, long pants, sturdy shoes so that you're protected when you go walking across debris. And check with their neighbors that might need a ride. If your car is accessible and you can get out and you're able to leave, make sure they might not be able to get out of their garage with their car if the electricity goes down. Don't waste a lot of time, but check with your close by neighbors that you know might need some help or a ride. Follow the recommended evacuation route and do not take shortcuts. We have heard so many stories about people going over the back road and get caught in the flood and washed off the bridge, things like that. We don't think of flooding in San Diego. However, we do know the Great San Diego River goes right through Mission Valley, and that floods every rainy season. I live in Point Loma. The sports arena area floods every single season. So we have alternate ways out to get out from our property. Make sure you know your evacuation routes and don't take shortcuts. And be alert for the road hazards, the washout roads, bridges, streets, down power lines, all those things can happen during an earthquake, and we want to be prepared for that. Fire safety, just as a review, plan 2 ways out of every room in case of a fire. Check for items that might fall and get in your path when you're trying to get out of the house. Secure or remove furniture and objects that may block your path. Then remember to register with your local fire department or your local emergency information management office if you are a senior that is disabled and will need help. They will contact you as soon as possible to come and check on you. So I hope that this helps. It's an uncomfortable subject. Nobody wants to talk about evacuation or staying at home, but we know people that have been dealing with the wildfires, and we are going into our real wildfire season. It is October, and Lord, please help us that we don't have any more fires, but we usually do. So you want to be prepared, and it's a good idea to know what you need to do in case of an emergency. I hope this has been helpful. And in your mind are working ways how to keep yourself safe in the event of an emergency or a declared disaster in your area. As always, I obtain my information from reliable sources, like I said, from ready.gov and FEMA this week. If you have any questions, please contact your healthcare provider and they will help you out. May God bless you and keep you safe until the next time. Bye-bye.